What's up, comic book fans? It's Detroit Madman, and I'm back. I've got the part 2 from Free Comic Book Day, and we're primarily going to focus on Bronze and Copper Age books in this haul. I got a lot of books to show you. I went buck wild on Free Comic Book Day, and boy, let's get started. So, first off, I was definitely feeling the DC vibe. But I didn't leave Marvel out, and I kept an eye open for both. But, DC's this uncharted territory for me, so I'm pulling books, and I'm looking through long boxes, and I'm checking the wall, and so I got a lot of good stuff going on. Now, these first comics I'm going to show you aren't necessarily expensive, but I really was digging the look of them. And the first comic here is The Untold Legend of Batman, and this is issue number 1. It says, first issue begins a collector's mini-series, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I like this cover so much, I got 2 of them, but not necessarily because I wanted to. Basically what happened was, I was at one shop, and I grabbed it, and then about 3 hours later, I saw it again at the second shop, and I went, oh, did I get it, or did I not get it? And because I was toying with getting this one at the first one, I ended up with 2. But that's not a bad thing. This is a pretty awesome little comic book here. Now, they had other issues in the miniseries, but the only other one I did get was number 3, because I loved the cover on this one. I think that red background with the Batman coming through in that with the blue cape just looks amazing. See if you can see that. Now, the condition on these, 2 of them are just super immaculate. I believe it's these 2 here. As you can see, the Riddler and the Joker and Penguin are all at the bottom of that one. And then this other one, it's okay shape. I'm not really great on the grades yet, but it's still a real decent book. Next up, another book that I really love the cover, but wasn't necessarily expensive at all. It's the All-Star Squadron number 1. It's a 50-cent DC book, but as you can see, and I love when DC does this, it has a ton of different heroes on the cover. And I think basically what they're doing here is they're trying to assemble their squad, their All-Star Squad. And I love this. It kind of reminded me of a throwback to the Golden Age when you had all those covers where guys were sitting around tables and these teams of heroes were all shown in the books, and I think that's why I like it a lot. Next up here, this is called Batman Dark Detective. It's a number 1 of 6 from July of 2005, and it says "Vote for Me." And it's the Joker. And I thought this was a great cover. It's just, I don't know the artist. Actually, it says it here. It's Rogers and Austin. But I don't have too many Joker books, so I think when I see some, I pick them up because they're the ever-adding Joker collection. They're additions to my ever-growing Joker collection, I should say. Now this one here, I don't know too much about it, but the artwork in the cover is simply amazing. It's kind of almost like an oil painting, and it's called Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. It's number 5 from March of 1990, and look at this cover here. Sorry about the glare. It's like the Batman coming out of exploding skull. I thought that one was great. Next up, I've got Detective Comics number 598. This one's from March of 1989. And that is an amazing cover. This book is immaculate. It's one of those thicker books, and I'll tell you what. You can go to the comic shop and pull a dozen books off the shelf, and you wouldn't find many in better condition than this one from the new releases. I don't know what the story is about in that one yet, but that thing's got 80 pages. So now this cover right here, instantly fell in love with it when I saw it. This one here is Batman Nightfall number 3, and it's Batman number 493. And just look at that. Got some guy over here with a knife. But that is just an amazing cover. Like, this needs to be a poster. So, love that one. Next up, I've got Batman The Dark Knight Falls. This is a Frank Miller book. And I've seen this before. I don't know much about the story behind this one. But it clearly has the silhouettes of Batman and like some really armed to the teeth war going on here. Superman up here on the cliff face. I don't know if you can see that. It's wicked. So I was happy to see a Frank Miller Batman book. Next up was we're going to go a little bit way back. These are 25 center. It is Swamp Thing number 18. And again, I love the damsel in distress cover on this. Something always about the art in Swamp Thing. No matter what cover you see, it always usually has a real striking scene depicted on it. And so you got the bound girl down there. You got some kind of demon. Got another demon down here, and then Swamp Thing busting through. This book right here is such a high grade. So I was really happy to find that one. The next one is The Brave and the Bold, number 119. And that's just a classic cover right there. The condition on this one's mid-range. So it's not, you know, an over-the-top expensive book for what I got it for. But I always liked the covers that had Man-Bat in them. So we got Batman versus Man-Bat, or Batman and Man-Bat. I don't know if they're fighting or teaming up. I'm happy to have that one. Next up, I've got Detective Comics number 446. And this to me is a classic cover because, you know, even though I didn't collect Batman covers when I was a kid, I instantly recognized this as a cover that I've seen a million times. I always like Detective Comics when they do the colored letters in front of the color, you know, those bold colors in the background. And you know, this scene is like a skeleton in a breaking through a shell of Batman. Batman's hiding around a corner. Very ghoulish. Cool book. Keeping with the supernatural theme or the horror type theme, I've got Batman in Detective Comics number 455. It's another 25 center, and as you can see, there's a vampire on that one. Popular theme for the day. And I didn't like the face on the vampire so much, but overall it's a really cool comic. Next up, I've got issue 456, and this one I got real cheap. It's got condition issues. It's real soft in the corner up here. Has two creases down here and has a thumb wear, obviously where it's been read a lot. But I love the cover. I thought the cover was cool. You got the curvy dame there, and then keeping with the theme here, I got issue 457 as well. And this one I really like. It's got, you know, the silhouette of Batman's head. And it says, a haunting story, the murder that created Batman. So I'm assuming that that's, you know, young Master Wayne at the scene of his parents' demise. It's a haunting, you got the robber running away in the background. Real haunting cover, and it really caught my eye. And I didn't have to pay too much for that one. It was due to the, even though it looks good, it does have condition issues. Now this one is issue 461 of Detective Comics, and I really like the green and yellow billboard on this one that's wrapped around Batman there with the Detective Comics banner. I think they were using color the best at this time when displaying the logo every other issue in different colors. And the artwork on this one is pretty wild. As you can see that Batman's just getting tore up by rats. There's about 75 rats in this picture. Condition on this one's overall is okay. It's not as white at the top as it could be, and it has a few soft spots at the very tips of the corners, but it shows really well. It really pops if you're looking at it here in person. Then from there I went to 469, which is another Detective Comics. Looks cool with the orange and the blue. Really makes the logo pop there. And then I also picked up issue 470. And those are, I don't know the name of that character there, but he does look wild on those covers, you know, with the dark backgrounds and the all that yellow fire surrounding the skeleton. And then 472 I picked up, and it's the Batman is Dead, and it's one of those, you know, another silhouette cover with the body of Batman laying there, and you know, these white background covers, once you get the boards behind them and you look at them and you say, oh, it's kind of off-white. When I picked this up, I thought it was a lot whiter. It looked really white because it didn't have any kind of backing board showing. It kind of had a board behind it that fit the comic exactly. And then, but it's not too bad. It still is a really nice looking comic in person. This is an interesting one here. And I think this is the last DC book I got for this age. This is Detective Comics. This is issue 478, and it says Clayface is back. It's got a woman just oozing out of her dress there. And it's a real, I think this is kind of a throwback cover to like the EC horror comics, where, you know, you got a guy walking away with a bunch of this girl's body, obviously, or ripped it right off the face, maybe. I'm not even sure. I mean, just oozing out. But, wow. I mean, that's kind of a striking, shocking cover. But all in all, I'm really happy with those books. I think I did real well, taking advantage of all those sales that were going on. You know, I was averaging 50% off of sticker on all these books, on these back issues, and some I got 40% off, but for the most part I was really hitting the 50% off store. Next up, I've got Astonishing Tales number 26, so we're into Marvel now, and this is Deathlock the Demolisher. I'm not sure how early in his appearances this one is, but I just like the cover a lot. I love the logo on his name. And I thought it was a decent condition book. It does have problems in one of the corners, but overall, I think it's really nice looking. Now this book I didn't have to pay a whole lot at all. I think I got it for a couple of bucks. But, man, that cover just caught me. It's an Electra Assassin, number 1 of an 8-issue limited series, and it has a logo up in the corner that's Epic. So it's an Epic comic made by Marvel, but I don't know anything about this. Perhaps somebody could fill me in on what exactly Epic Comics was. Was it just like a subline or something? But I really love this cover, and they had other issues in this series, but I didn't really care for them. But I love the big guns, and then those long legs. They just did a great job on this cover. Like that one a lot. Next up, I've got a couple of... I remember this book right here from when I was a kid. And so I saw two different versions of it. And they were both for 50% off of what they had marked. So I picked them up. It's issue 173 of the Uncanny XMen. And I love that perspective on the Wolverine. And so I got the retail and the direct comic shop variant, I believe, whichever one's which. And so you got the 60 cents and then the little M 60 center. So I was happy to find both of those. And then also picked up issue 177, which is about the exact opposite. The first one has a girl running behind Wolverine. Now Wolverine's standing over someone. So I guess they finally caught up to him and he didn't like it. But that was a great price on that one. I was happy to get that. Next up here, I've got the Tomb of Darkness, issue 11. And I really love this cover. This is one of those titles I would never go looking for it. I never collected it. I didn't really know much about it. But there was a few books there on the wall, and this was one of them. And it was really striking. So I'll have to look for more books in the future. But I really like the cover on this one. Spawn of the Witch Woman. And these are 25-cent Marvels. And this book looks good at just about everywhere. Lower right corner, there's a little bit of wear on it. So next up, I'm continuing to pick books up for my Frank Miller run in Daredevil. So I was able to pick up 164. And because I've been watching that Netflix series, this one really hit home. And he cries father in the ring. So I'm kind of getting the backstory of all what's going on. And this is issue 164 in that run. And as you can see, he's there in the ring. And if you watch that Netflix series and don't know much about Daredevil, this one will definitely hit home. Next up, I would have never guessed this one was a Frank Miller cover, just from everything I know about Frank Miller. But issue 167, red, blue, yellow, it's got everything. Next up, 169, and I like this cover. It's got Bullseye on it, bunch of stuff going on here. We're marking stuff off on that list, man, I'm telling you. Getting closer and closer to completing this. Boy, this cover right here really pops. The colors on these Daredevil covers look so amazing. Next up, I've got issue 172, silhouette of the Kingpin. You got Bullseye flying in. It's a great action scene with Daredevil. And I love that Daredevil logo up in the corner too. So amazing. But as you can see, that's Kingpin there, and you got quite a brawl going on here with this henchman. Bullseye flying in. Issue 175. Cool issue with Electra. All the swords. The end sprawled in blood. So you've got white background, red blood letters, blue Daredevil letters. There's a lot going on here. That red Daredevil suit really pops on that white background. Great book. Now, staying with the theme of picking up two different comics when I had the chance here. Daredevil 176, I got both the retail and direct variant. This one from the comic shop with the Spidey logo in the corner down here doesn't have as much color as this one, so I'm going to say this one's the higher grade. And this one's got definite issue in the corner up here. And this one's pretty sick. This one really jumps out at you when you look at both of them, with the contrast and the color on the book. This guy's just nuts up here. And then the last comic I found for my run here was issue 182. And it's a pretty striking cover. This one I probably was, even though I did get a great deal on it, I think he had it marked a little high for what it actually was, because when I got it home, and sometimes you get those dingy bags at the comic shop and you look at it and you look at it, but then there was some discoloring I saw as soon as I got it out of the bag down there that wasn't on the bag. But you know, what are you going to do? Complain when you get books for 50% off what they're asking for anyways? But as you can see, that's the Tombstone with Electra on it. And you got Daredevil just hugging it with the snow building up. It's pretty insane. Alright, next up here, I was able to pick up, this is a super high grade copy of Uncanny XMen 283. I think there was notes on this one. So the first full appearance of Bishop, it said on the back. And I never really followed a lot of the X-Men. I had several X-Men books when I was young, but I loved the artwork. I didn't follow the story, so I can't really remember the plot lines. But this is a super, super high-grade book, and I was able to get it at a great price, so I jumped on it. Next up, 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's issue number 3, and it's just got that striking cover. I mean, what needs to be said about that? I leafed through this book and I couldn't put it down. It's so amazing. I have to look for more of those. I didn't see any more there. So next up, I've got the ManThing number 22, and I got this one for $1. But it's probably one of the cheapest books I bought. This cover I thought was so amazing. And it seems like I've seen it before, or it's crossed paths with me at one time or another. But I love this cover. This is one of the best covers I found all day. And not in terms of books I was actually looking for, but just something that I stumbled on. It's so cool. 25 center, issue number 22. And next up, it's the first time I've ever seen these, because I wasn't going in shops or doing any type of collecting when they came out, and then don't know much about them, but as I was digging through a box, I looked up and they were on the wall above it, and you can still see poke holes. I didn't change one of the boards out. You can see a poke hole through one of them. But I guess this is a series of 6, and I have the first 4 here, and it's Frank Miller's Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. And the condition on these is absolutely immaculate. Again, I don't know much about these. I don't know if this is a reprint or a first printing or a repackaged book or something. I'll have to do some research on it. I just haven't had time yet to do that. But that's issue 1. And then I've got issue 2. And then issue 3. And then issue 4. So once I do a little bit of research on these books and figure it out, then I'll know a little bit more about it. Now for the Bronze Age, I've got 2 books left, and these were the 2 books in this era that I actually paid up for, because I wanted to get these off the board, up on the wall. And the first one here is Iron Man number 128, and I remember this comic from when I was a kid, and I think this is the issue that deals with alcoholism, but I'll never forget this cover. I instantly remembered it. And check that out. Demon in a bottle. He's got the Canadian whiskey there. So I thought that was cool. I thought I definitely wanted that one. And then actually the book I paid the most for is in immaculate condition. And I don't know much about it, but I thought it just was a super looking cover. And this is Detective Comics 448. The shop owner said this is high 9 on the CGC scale. The pages inside are whiter than that backing board. They were so white they looked fake. Like if you just ran Xerox copies off fresh. And so it says this is the way it began, and then this is the way that it ends. And so you got the Batman shooting the girl there, and then you got some guy shooting Batman in the back. The striking thing about this comic here is just how perfect condition it is. It didn't even have a comic smell when I opened it up. It almost had that new car smell, which freaked me out because most of the comics I've gotten from the 80s and before all have that pulpy, papery smell. So, but at any rate, this is my haul. This is the copper and bronze stuff. I hope you liked it. I will return because we're getting into the good stuff, guys. Don't forget, I've got 2 piles over here of just simply amazing stuff I can't wait to do hauls on. This is going to be Silver Age and early Bronze Age DC, and this is going to be Silver and early Age Bronze Marvel. It's going to be simply amazing. So I want to thank you for checking out the video, and definitely leave me some feedback if you'd like. Subscribe to the channel, and send me a link to your comic haul, and I'll definitely check it out. Alright guys, peace. Detroit Madman, I'm out.